Friends, many times we think the world can't change that fast, but the truth is often different. Even when we don't want it to, change happens, and suddenly everything is different. Such a change has happened in a Christian country, a nation that once ruled the world, whose name made enemies tremble. But in the last 10 years, such a change has come that everything has been transformed. Yes, this is the story of Germany, one of Europe's most powerful nations. Germany was once a world leader, but in the last 10 years, a storm came that shook the country's politics, society, and culture. And this storm was of Muslim refugees. Germany has the most powerful economy in the European Union. It has a global reputation in science, technology, education, and trade. But in the streets of this very country today, there's a growing fear. And the reason for this is the continuous rise in Muslim immigration, the agendas that come with them, religious extremism, and the tension it creates. Yes, at first people thought this was a temporary problem. They believed that people who came seeking refuge due to wars and unrest would return in a few years. But that didn't happen. Instead, slowly, these communities began to settle permanently. The cultural differences that came with them started causing tension in society. This slowly led to questions like, are they just here for refuge, or have they brought an agenda with them? People are whispering, are we safe in our own country? What will happen to our culture? What will the future hold for our children? It's like a snake slowly creeping into a quiet home. At first no one notices. Then one day you realize everything is gone. This is the story of Germany. According to a DW report, the Muslim population's rapid growth has changed Germany's demographics. The result is an increase in cultural and social tensions in Germany. Just so you know, Germany's total population today is close to 83 million. But in Germany, the Muslim population has grown quickly in recent years. According to the German government, by 2009, the Muslim population in Germany was about 3 million. But now, the Muslim community there is roughly 5.5 to 6 million. The real problem can be seen in the cities. In some parts of cities like Berlin, Cologne, Hamburg, and Frankfurt, the Muslim population has reached 20% or more. Where German used to be heard, now Turkish, Arabic, Urdu, and other languages have become common. Shop signs have changed. The language spoken by children in schools is changing. In many schools in Germany, the number of Muslim children is over 80%. The places where festivals are held are changing. This has made local people worried that their culture might be left behind, and this separation often leads to tension. For example, the 2016 Cologne gang rape, which really shook all of Germany, were done by refugees from North Africa. Similarly, the Würzburg train attack and the Berlin Christmas market attack, these terror acts were also linked to Muslim refugees. Meanwhile, between 2021 and 2023, crimes linked to Syrian refugees increased by 20%. Not only that, in 2024, a group called Muslim Interactive in Hamburg held a rally where they demanded Sharia law and chanted violent slogans. Yes, thousands of people associated with Islam took to the streets of Germany, and the Muslim crowd in Hamburg, Germany, chanted Allahu Akbar. Also, through this protest, these extremists started demanding the implementation of Sharia law in Germany. Not just that, these people started threatening the German government, saying that Muslims are the majority here. So now they will make sure Sharia law is implemented in Germany, no matter what they have to do for it. Let me tell you, the majority population in Germany is Christian, while Muslims are a minority. They arrived in Germany seeking refuge from African and Asian countries. But now, as soon as they got citizenship, their attitudes changed, and now they are trying to suppress the original population. But this isn't happening all of a sudden. It actually started a long time ago. That's right. The arrival of the Muslim community in Germany is not a new thing at all. Back in the 1960s, Germany needed industrial workers. That's when temporary workers were brought in from Turkey. Slowly, their families also settled here. Then, after 1990, due to wars and political instability, a large number of refugees started coming from the Middle East. Later, when the civil war in Syria was at its peak, Afghanistan and Iraq were also burning with violence. At that time, millions of people fled towards Europe, and Germany, with a welcoming spirit, opened its doors. In 2015, the then Chancellor Angela Merkel made a big decision. She said, "We are opening our doors to those who have been made homeless by war." On the streets of Munich, local people came out to help refugees with food, water, and clothes. In 2015 and 2016 alone, about 1,164,000 people applied for asylum in Germany. Most of these came from Muslim countries like Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq. By 2024, a total of 2.6 million applications had been received. This means Germany became the country receiving the most asylum applications in the European Union. At that time, Germany's actions were praised around the world. Many said this was an example of humanity. At first, there was a warm welcome. Initially, the German people welcomed the refugees with open arms. In Munich, people were seen on the streets, handing out food themselves. But then, what happened? But this welcome didn't last long. A few incidents changed everything. On New Year's Eve, there were mass sexual assaults on women in the city of Cologne. Several refugees were named in these attacks. Those who had come to Germany to save their lives were now being accused. This incident changed the mood of society. This led people to start asking questions. Did we make a mistake? Was it right to open the doors? This is why German civil society is worried about this change. And violent incidents involving the Muslim community in recent years have increased people's fear. Groups involved in drug dealing, illegal weapons, and human trafficking also saw young radicalized Muslims taking part. This made the feeling of fear in society even stronger. Police reports talk about areas where strong religious beliefs have led to people moving away from German culture and affected law and order. Not only that, but today there are about 2,500 to 2,700 mosques in Germany. But still, most prayers are done in regular buildings or on the streets. Some mosques are centers for religious teaching where children are taught the Quran and Arabic. But on Friday prayers and during Ramadan, large crowds gather. And that's where the problem starts. Many reports have said that some mosques are becoming centers for spreading extreme ideas. These centers are slowly building walls of separation. Some groups are trying to spread extreme ideas across Europe through their networks. Government reports have repeatedly warned that some mosques are becoming centers for violent ideas. Also, some groups have been accused of spreading extremism. So the scariest question is this. Is this just growth or a plan to make Germany Islamic? Is this just about finding identity or a plan to take over society? Because many security reports have said that some religious networks want to create Muslim-majority areas in Europe by spreading religious separation. Some reports say that certain extremist groups are separating young people from the mainstream and focusing them on religious identity. Some groups have talked about plans to create Muslim-majority areas in Europe and establish religious rule in the future. Some reports say they don't want a direct war, but rather to slowly take over society. Hearing all this can be scary, but this is the truth that is slowly growing in society. Insecurity and distrust are growing in people's minds. The pain, fear, restlessness, and unease of ordinary citizens. This change has deeply affected the lives of ordinary people. That's why the common people of Germany didn't stay silent. Now, ordinary Germans are reacting. There have been protests in many cities. Slogans like "Stop Islamization" and "Save Our Culture" were chanted. Incidents like protests and stone pelting outside mosques have also come to light. The right-wing party Alternative for Germany took advantage of all these events. Its leaders and supporters started speaking against refugees. After Bashar al-Assad's rule fell in Syria in 2024, AfD leader Alice Weidel openly said that Syrian refugees living in Germany should immediately return to their country. Today, it has become the second largest party in Germany. So the public now is the same one that was welcoming before. But now they are talking about closing doors. However, the German government has taken several steps given the situation. For example, the application process has been made tougher. Thousands of extra security guards have been placed at the border. Attempts were made to stop refugees right at the border. Learning the local language has been made mandatory for children in schools. Special units have been created to keep an eye on organizations spreading religious extremism. Some mosques were inspected and temporarily closed too. The government says these steps are needed to keep the country safe and maintain law and order. But ordinary citizens are wondering, will this policy solve the problem? This isn't about spreading fear. This is the truth that is slowly becoming clear everywhere. Germany's future will depend on how it protects its culture, safety, and society. If steps aren't taken in time, even a peaceful society can fall apart. This was the inside story of Germany. How increasing immigration, religious extremism, and certain plans can shake the very foundation of a developed country. Now, the decision is up to society. Will it wake up or will it keep sleeping? So friends, how did you like the video? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and share the video. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to our channel Mystery of Aryavat and press the bell icon too. See you in the next video.